Hi, this is Kim Reads Urantia. Merry Christmas to everybody. And I'm going to read from the Urantia book, like always. But first, I got Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. Okay, and it's December 25th, and this is a Shinto prayer, morning Shinto prayer. So, for people who don't know much about Shintoism, I don't know that much about it. I know it's kind of an indigenous, ancient Japanese type of animism. So they believe in what they call kami, which are spirits that will inhabit nature, objects. So theoretically, these kami spirits can inhabit any object. Okay, which is an interesting idea. But I think there's emphasis on natural objects. Okay, so the basic beliefs of Shintoism have to do with beauty. What was it again? Yeah, affinity with natural beauty and harmony with the spirits and purification, ritual purification. So there's not a lot of talk in Shintoism about what happens, when you die or how to, but they do purification rituals. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. I reverently speak in the presence of the great parent God. I pray that this day, the whole day, as a child of God, I may not be taken hold of by my own desire, but show forth the divine glory by living a life of creativity, which shows forth the true individual. Okay, so I want my own personal truth to be shown through me. And there's vulnerability in that. And that my own desires, material desires, don't matter. But I show forth divine glory. And creativity, of course, is kind of godlike, because God, the Father, I think, is the essence of creativity, the impulse to create. So that's really beautiful. Okay, I'm going to read the Urantia book. We are on paper 31, the core of the finality. And we're talking about the different members here of the core of the finality. And glorified mortals are just one segment of this core of 7 different types of beings. The first type are the Havona Natives. Okay. Many of the Havona Natives who serve as teachers in the pilgrim training schools of the central universe become greatly attached to the ascending mortals and still more intrigued with the future work and destiny of the core of mortal finaliters. On Paradise, there is maintained at the administrative headquarters of the Corps a registry for Havona volunteers presided over by the Associate of Grandfanda. Okay, so Grandfanda was the first perfected mortal spirit. He's our grandfather, the first one that came to the shores of Havona. Okay, so there's a registry of perfected mortals. On Paradise. Okay, today you will find millions upon millions of Havona natives upon this waiting list. So there's a waiting list of Havona natives to get into the core of finality. These perfect beings of direct and divine creation are of great assistance to the mortal core of finality, and they will undoubtedly be of even greater service in the far distant future. They provide the viewpoint of one born in perfection and divine repleteness. So these beings have never had the challenge of trying to sift through, okay, what's good and what's bad, what's correct behavior and what's so that's a challenge that we face. Their challenge is trying to understand how we can have these choices and these temptations, and to bring mercy on us and guidance to us, and to not judge us. They're like, it's like the difference between like a human person trying to relate to an android, that never asks why, never tries to discern, just always knows, what to do, or isn't like, doesn't have to weigh the pros and cons. It just does what it's supposed to do. And just, trust that, right? So the finalators thus embrace both phases of experiential existence, perfect and perfected. So we are perfected gradually. Havona natives must achieve certain experiential developments in liaison with evolutionary beings, which will create reception capacity for the bestowal of a fragment of the spirit of the universal Father. Okay, so these Havona natives can be bestowed with a thought adjuster. But in order to be receptive of a thought adjuster, they have to try to understand and undergo through experiences, you know, with mortal beings, trying to understand mortal beings. The mortal finalator core has as permanent members only such beings as have been fused with the spirit of the first source and center, or who, like the gravity messengers, innately embody the spirit of God the Father. The inhabitants of the central universe are received into the core in the ratio of 1 in 1,000. The inhabitants of the central universe are received into the core in the ratio of 1 in 1,000 of finalator company. So Havona, central universe is Havona. So 1 in every 1,000 beings in Havona is received into the finalator company. The core is organized for temporary service in companies of 1,000. So there's 1 Havona native in per company of 1,000 finalators. The ascendant creatures numbering 997 to 1 Havona native and 1 gravity messenger. Well, there's still 1 more. 997 ascendant creatures, 1 Havona native, 1 gravity messenger, and then there must be what? A seraphim or a material sun or a midway creature in there somewhere. And why is there only 6 kinds of these beings? There's usually 7 of everything. Okay, normally there's 7 of everything. Okay, so that's okay. All right, I'm gonna keep going though. Okay, finalities are thus mobilized in companies, but the finality oath is administered individually. It is an oath of sweeping implications and eternal import. The Havona native takes the same oath and becomes forever attached to the core. The Havona recruits follow the company of their assignment. Wherever the group goes, they go. And you should see their enthusiasm in the new work of the finalators. The possibility of attaining the core of the finality is one of the superb thrills of Havona. The possibility of becoming a finalator is one of the supreme adventures of these perfect races. So they all want to go with us and like see this because, yeah, and find out all the different possibilities because they're, perfection is essentially limiting, isn't it? Yeah. I remember, gosh, in Star Trek, there was Commander Data and he wanted to have a child, but he couldn't have a child. He was a robot, right? Okay, so he was trying to build himself a daughter, but then the daughter couldn't understand herself as being like, yeah, and she had to die or something. She couldn't be both a robot and a child of a robot or something. I can't remember, but it was yeah, it was really sad. But I mean, okay, so but they like to try to be like us, which is so weird because why would something perfect want to try to be like us? But they do. Oh, yeah. Okay, but they do. Okay. The Havona natives are also received in the same ratio into the core of conjoint trinitized finalators on Vice Jarrington and into the core of transcendental finalators on Paradise. So these are different core finalators. Okay, so this is the core of the mortal finalators, right? The core of the finality. So there's the trinitized, conjoint trinitized finalators. Trinitized, of course, receive the embrace, the blessing or the union with all 3 gods of the Trinity. And transcendental finalators, that's hard to grok what that means. I don't know. The Havona citizens regard these 3 destinies as constituting the supreme goals of their supernal careers, together with their possible admission to the core of Havona finalators. So these are all different kinds of finalators. So there's also Havona finalators. Okay, well, I remember reading something about that. The core of Havona finalators. Oh, there's all these different things. Goodness sakes. There's okay. In the last part, paper 30, under the core of the paradise core of the finality. Okay, paper 30, section 2. I'm on paragraph 130. Okay, on page 287 in the new book, right? So there's all the different kinds of, there's core mortal finalators, the core of paradise finalators, the core of trinitized finalators, the core of conjoint trinitized finalators, the core of Havona finalators, the core of transcendental finalators, and the core of unrevealed sons of destiny. Okay, so much stuff going on, and this is they're not telling us all the more questions come up than answers. of these things, which is okay though. But it gives you a sense of just this unlimited potential that we have as human beings, and that's so beautiful to me. But anyway, I have to let you go because I have to spend some time with my son this Christmas, and I hope you have a really good day. Bye.